Welcome to Profile, Red Apple 21's monthly look at schools in Fairfax County. The first day of the 1989-90 school year brought more than the usual excitement to 3 new schools in Fairfax County. In Centerville, students at Virginia Run and Willow Springs Elementary, housed this year in the Virginia Run building, began the school year in their recently completed 2-story facility. And in Springfield, Saratoga Elementary, which also houses Saratoga Center, opened its school doors for the first time on September 5th. For students attending these 3 schools, there was plenty of excitement and plenty of new names to learn as friends, new and old, came together from nearby communities to build school spirit. The process of planning and preparing for the opening of a new school is constant. Construction began months ago on Virginia Run, located on Martin's 100 Drive in Centerville. Once the actual structure was finished, tables, chairs, bookcases, everything that's needed to get a new school ready to open, were moved in, and the long process of unpacking and organizing began. The challenges of such a task are enormous for the new school staff and principal. Not only is it important that the school be physically ready to accommodate several hundred children, but it's equally important that the staff and students have a sense of unity and a common purpose. And that's just what Suzanne Walters, Virginia Run's principal, intends to accomplish during the first year.
I think the primary goal this first school year, as probably with any new school, is to begin to kind of establish an identity for the school. We'll be merging students from the London Town and Cub Run School, but we also have a large number of students who will be brand new to Fairfax County, who have moved into the Virginia Run subdivision. And so our goal this year will be to get those children together to try and form one school, as well as to bring staffs from many, many schools together to form an identity for Virginia Run in terms of the staff as well as the students. With students, during the first week, we hope to have them involved in identifying their mascot, in looking for school, identifying school colors. They're ready to write a school song and establish a school motto, and getting ready to design their playground, which is an important part here. That's one of the most important things they really wanted to do. So I think all of those activities together will begin to bring the identity that we hope to accomplish.
With the development of a new community nearby, Virginia Run is in an ideal position to foster strong ties among students, teachers, and parents. Suzanne Walters began to nurture that relationship many months ago.
Well, as most principals get the opportunity to do, is I was fortunate enough in the springtime to meet with students from Cub Run and from London Town, to actually meet with the students and talk with them about what they would like to see and answer any of their questions about the new building, since many of them have not had the opportunity to see it, and it is a little different from the buildings that they're coming from. So I did spend the springtime with that, and also in the springtime met with different groups from different communities, answering questions about the building, enrollment, and any general questions that they might have early on.
The Virginia Run building features a beautiful main entrance hall that will soon have a large clock as its centerpiece. From the upper floor, one can look down over the entrance hall and even see into the school's media center. The school's gym, which was filled with furniture waiting to be unpacked, will also be a source of pride and pleasure for the students.
We've had a good core of volunteers who have been helping us this last couple of days and are scheduled in the next 2 weeks just to get us unboxed and unpacked and getting all of our supplies out and ready. And I think that I have really begun to establish that relationship with the community.
Because the school is located in a neighborhood still under construction, members of the community had had a lot of practice unpacking and moving into their own recently finished homes.
Our anticipated enrollment right now is a little over 500 students. As I said, though, we do continue to grow each day as the homes are completed in the developments and new students move in. So we anticipate that continual growing pattern throughout the school year.
When the big day finally arrived, all the planning had paid off. The classrooms looked great. Teachers had constructed signs and bulletin boards designed to orient the new students to their classroom responsibilities, and had also created special learning areas. The students got right to work and like an age-old tradition, one of the first assignments focused on their summer vacation.
Everybody's going to take a couple minutes and think about their summer. Can you do that? You can close your eyes if you want. You can think about who you are visiting or your favorite things, and as soon as you're ready, you can start to write.
My goal is that every child have a very positive, exciting experience on the first day of school that makes them want to come back on the second day and makes them excited about learning and excited about being here at a new school and being involved in a new school.
Until September 1990, the Virginia Run building is also the temporary home to Willow Springs Elementary. Though they will be sharing the same building, the Willow Springs School will be located on the second floor. This arrangement effectively separates the two schools by allowing independent school identities to emerge, along with school-specific objectives.
As principal of a new school, I will try to help develop a philosophy, give Willow Springs Elementary School its own identity, because during the 1989-90 school year, Willow Springs Elementary School will be located upstairs in the Virginia Run building. We will try to bring a sense of community to students, teachers, and to parents. There will be some other overall objectives that take place in the annual improvement plan. We will work on integrated language arts. We will pilot a new report card. We will work with family life education. We will do lots of academic objectives.
Unlike many new school principals, Ms. Roots will get to experience opening day in a new building 2 years in a row.
Well, I think this is unique for me because I get to do it twice. We will open as a school within a school, and I think that that's an opportunity to see the kinds of things that take place when you're opening a school, and I can benefit from what Suzanne Walters is doing in Virginia Run building, and simple things like furniture. If she bought the wrong size table, I'll know not to do that next time.
Although the stay at Virginia Run is temporary, the Willow Springs school community is not waiting until they have their own building before beginning to create their school culture.
I will give each segment, the parents, the students, and the teachers, an opportunity to have input into what happens at Willow Springs, simply because my administrative style is a sharing style. And I think that teachers especially need to be empowered with the ability to make some of the decisions that take place, especially those that affect the particular boys and girls who are in their classrooms.
We may learn about some cities that are in Virginia. Meredith?
Cities and counties.
Okay, cities and counties. Anyone else? Rosalind?
People.
Okay, the people that live in Virginia, sure. Do you think the people that live in Virginia may be different than, let's say, the people that may live in California? Do you think people differ from state to state? Because, yes, because different areas have different customs. Okay, Jesse?
One of the keys to success when two schools share the same building is the degree of cooperation between the school staff. Mary Roots and Suzanne Walters understand this perfectly and have developed a rapport that enables them to problem solve easily and in a way that meets their individual needs.
But I think what we can do on that is that Floy will be holding she will have a book of all available rooms.
That goes down to this, okay? Because this and this go together.
Right, building use and that.
Right.
She will be holding a book with all of available rooms that are not scheduled up to a permanent person. And then, so she will be scheduling them all through that. I think if building use should all just go down to the front. Or
Yeah, but see, I don't think I should do any.
Right, we should be doing the building use.
Right.
And then that will monitor when the rooms are available and when they're not available, if we have one person working that, and not have to worry about trying to coordinate two schedules upstairs and downstairs every time you need a room and I need a room.
Yeah.
And that. So we'll take care of monitoring all the large meetings for parents and for student groups and for your parent groups and for my parent groups.
Do you want us to fill in building use?
Perhaps the ultimate expression of cooperation between the two schools occurred during their joint expedition to Hemlock Overlook Regional Park. Through the course of the day spent at Hemlock, the staffs from both schools became better acquainted with each other, and this in turn led to a mutual understanding of the compromises that must be made when sharing a school building.
We will have a joint meeting at Camp Hemlock with Virginia Run so that we are a separate school within one building. And what needs to happen is we need to be aware of each other, but yet separate from each other. And so that we bring some camaraderie between the two staffs, we will have two separate activities at Hemlock, but then we will have one joint activity that kind of brings the two staffs together.
The activities stressed trust, acceptance, and cooperation, and at times took a lot of courage to get through. These same qualities are needed as the two schools embark on their first year together under the same roof.
Suzanne and I kind of thought of it together. We've spent a lot of time together since April 17th when we were appointed to these two buildings and we were at Centerville High School. We talked about having a PE teacher for each school sharing the same space, having two librarians sharing the same space. And so we thought that if we had to have certain members of the staff sharing, then we needed to have all members sharing in some way. I think what we're trying to do is to build trust. And when you can build trust, you can build camaraderie. And so I would say it's a joint idea. Suzanne and I came up with it together.
Nice and stiff. Is everybody ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I hope they're ready.
Okay, got to stay nice and stiff now.
Go to the right.
Oh.
We're going to go to the right. Trust us. Nice and stiff.
This exercise is intended to cultivate the sort of trust that Mary Roots and Suzanne Walters hope to achieve between the two staffs. While an individual stands in the middle, the rest of the group forms a tight circle. The individual is then passed from person to person.
Get up, Dave.
Okay, let's stand Dave up.
There were laughs and screams and giggles as many teachers, hesitantly at first, and then later with greater assurance, threw aside some of their caution and trusted their companions not to let them fall outside the circle. Once trust was established, the groups began to work on cooperative strategies.
So everybody has to get on these two boards and take 10 steps in that direction.
In this exercise, called the Australian Trolley, the objective for the group was to coordinate their actions so that they could take 10 steps without falling off the boards. To add an element of drama, the instructor asked them to imagine that they were crossing an Australian swamp, complete with imaginary Australian alligators.
1, 2, 3.
1,
1, 2, 3.
2,
1, 2, 3.
3,
1, 2, 3. Right.
4.
1, 2, 3. Left.
0.
The greatest challenge, however, may have come when the group was asked to test their own courage and convictions. If anyone ever wished to take up mountain climbing or run off to join the circus, here was an opportunity to test their skill.
You're going to do it, Linda. I sort of don't have a choice right now.
Find one thing to stare at. Don't look down. Find one thing in front of you to stare at.
It's not the height, it's the rope, the wire. That's what I've decided. You know, there's only one way to go.
Their first task was to walk a 20-foot distance from one platform to another on a rope strung high above the ground. Once this was accomplished, they were hitched up to a harness and took a 50-yard swing through the woods.
Okay, run, Alex. Just keep going.
Throughout the tests of strength and agility, everyone encountered an entirely different set of problems than usual. And everybody developed new solutions, new friends, and most of all, planted the seeds for a year of success. When the buses rolled up to Saratoga Elementary on Northumberland Drive in Springfield, there was plenty of activity and excitement among the 900 children attending the new school. Opening day brought students from 3 separate communities to Saratoga Elementary and Saratoga Center, both located in this charming and imaginatively designed structure that captures the form of the traditional one-room schoolhouse. Beyond its usual exterior, however, is something much more.
Well, this is the newest of the designs in Fairfax County Schools. It is a 36-room facility, and I think that one of the interesting things is that we have, every room has a window in it that's a classroom, and so that is quite interesting, and that you can open the windows and you can have fresh air coming in case you have your air conditioning breakdown or something like that. That has not happened yet. Well, one of the things that I found, I think, in both from the teachers as well as the administrators in the building, we found that you're thinking about starting up. It's all those little tiny details that you need to do. We started with the staff, and as we were working over the summer, we worked on movement patterns. You wouldn't think that you have to give a lot of consideration to that, but this is a new building, so movement patterns were very important in how we're getting children from location to location.
Saratoga staff, along with parent volunteers, have worked hard to create a comfortable and stimulating environment for the students, such as the library, a cozy room that offers reading materials on a variety of subjects, from folk tales to biographies. The library will be the center of many school programs, as reading is one of the students' best-loved classroom activities.
That was what he regretted most of all. He had never seen those great shining white expanses of ice and snow. How he wished that he had been a scientist instead of a house painter in Stillwater, so that he might have joined some of the great polar expeditions. Since he could not go, he was always thinking about them. Whenever he heard that a polar movie was in town, he was the first person at the ticket window, and often he sat through 3 shows. You ever sat through 3 movies before? No. Oh, what?
In an effort to increase parent involvement, Saratoga Elementary has also reached out into the community with an invitation to join the school in meeting its goals and educational mission.
We expect to have a series of meetings throughout the year with parents and different kinds of topics, both instructional as well as those things that support self-concept, self-esteem among students, and how do you go about fostering that, and what is the role that the parent plays in developing those types of things. So. And then in addition to that, we have our different newsletters that go out, a newsletter from the principal, PTA newsletter, all of these things, and to continue to sell the school program and the teachers and things that are going on here at the building. It is interesting, though, that you have to sometimes have a meshing of ideas, because this particular group of people, the 45 people, the professional staff that we have here, they all have various kinds of opinions, and so sometimes they have to be integrated together, because we can't do all of the things that they've done in the past. Just as this school, having students coming from 3 different schools and 3 different school communities, we can't do the same kinds of programs that they've had in those 3 communities before. That would be too much to do. We have to establish the Saratoga program.
And when I write that number, I want you to raise your hand if you know what that word is, okay? Raise your hand. Barron raised his hand so nicely and quietly. What's that word?
11.
11. So that's the first page you're going to do, okay? Oh, don't turn it yet. You have a second.
While expectations are high at Saratoga Elementary, so is staff and community commitment. With a clean sense of direction, Saratoga has every intention of reaching its full potential and achieving its goal.
We've opened with a very successful opening, and that's something we're going to plan on continuing throughout the school year. We've started to establish some monthly type activities that we want to have, and those are meetings with parents and with staff involvement, and we plan on that continuing. One of the things that we'll want to do as we go throughout the school year is I like a very balanced approach to whatever we happen to do, and so we'll be planning on those things on a monthly basis. And I see us ending the school year as successful as we started.
The first day of school also brought plenty of interest in the newest of Fairfax County's elementary centers. With approximately 50 students, Saratoga Center is opening near capacity and drawing students from a broad area within the county. This new building offers plenty of space, however, and is designed to meet some of the particular needs of an elementary education center.
Opening day is usually a honeymoon period for students. I think since we're pulling students from 4 other centers blending together here at Saratoga, we're going to have a lot of kids arriving that are scared. They don't know where they're going, maybe, unless they've come for our open house before. They, for the most part, don't know the staff. They know a few students, maybe, but not the vast majority. So it's like starting all over school again. So all those anxiety and those feelings of beginning kindergarten or first grade initially, I think are going to come right back again. From the staff perspective, I think it's an excitement level. Everybody is really excited to be here. The group is very collegial and working together. They've just melted right together already. So the excitement level and the anticipation of working with a new group of students, establishing those new histories and new traditions will keep us going.
Other things you might want to know. Pete, what's something you might want to know from somebody?
Do you have a pet?
Do you have a pet? Okay. That was right, pets. Okay, anything else? Paul, what might you want to know from somebody? Just absolutely anything.
What's your name?
Okay, we know we've already got that. But you're kind of thinking a lot about what somebody's name is, but what their... You keep telling us what you want to use as your, what? Nickname, okay? So we'll add that as even another question. What's your nickname?
Saratoga Center will have a lot of clinical services going to our students. Our kids come with unique needs, learning how to cope with feelings, coping with different kinds of problems that has, of course, made them eligible for our program. So each classroom teacher will have a class group or class opening session where they'll share feelings, ideas on a very base at the beginning. Also, because the space is possible here at Saratoga Center, we're going to be establishing a play group room. And with that group room, we're hoping to take children in who maybe don't know how to play in a group together and deal with competition at a base level. And that'll be one of the things that they'll be doing that's a little bit unique, I think, to the program here.
I wanted to talk to you about this new place where we are today. What's the name of this place?
Saratoga! Saratoga City!
I'm in a new school and I'm feeling sort of scared. And I'm wondering what it's going to be like here. And let's go around the table and you introduce your puppet.
The student-teacher ratio at Saratoga Center is quite good, nearly 1 adult staff member per every 2 children. And along with a part-time psychologist and part-time social worker, Saratoga Center is able to offer a range of support and clinical services. In addition, because Saratoga Center is housed within Saratoga Elementary, there is ample opportunity for students to link up with students from Saratoga Elementary general education classes. This mainstreaming process is valuable because it encourages affinity and mutual respect within the diverse student bodies. And although the 2 student bodies interact, the facility was designed to give each school its own operating area.
We have a separate entrance into the center. The covered walkway, of course, is shared because our bell schedule is exactly the same as Saratoga Elementary, which is really nice for mainstreaming. It makes it a lot easier when a class group in the main building is beginning that we're not coming in 20 minutes late because our bell schedule is off slightly. The buses will all come in together at the same location, so the kids will really blend together under the walkway coming into the building. And I would think we probably are going to see general ed students and special ed students entering both sets of doors, really. We also have, for 2 years, we're going to have general ed second grade, 2 of their classrooms housed within the center. So there's going to be a lot of informal mixing that will occur just because of that. And we've kind of adopted those two teachers, and hope they will adopt us as well for the time that they're down here, and maintain, once they move to the other side in a couple of years, that they will continue to think of us as part of them.
The students from Saratoga Center and Saratoga Elementary are looking forward to their first year together, discovering the joys of being the first students in a new school. And like the Saratoga students, those from Virginia Run and Willow Springs will also experience the newness and work together to share the facility. The opening of school is always an exciting time for students and teachers as they plan for the coming year, set goals, and get back into the swing of things. For those beginning the year in Fairfax County's newest schools, they'll get that fresh start in a beautiful new building. Students from many communities will come together as one and begin to establish the goals and traditions for which their schools will soon be known.